Mississippi. We bought 1,000 units in Jacksonville, Florida, bought 600 units in the Carolinas, 800 units in the Carolinas. Said you would have never gotten all that experience and knowledge by working with 5 other management companies. You would have never learned all the different market fundamentals. You would have never gotten the experience of what those smaller markets are like. So I said, could you have done better by going to Columbus? For sure. But I think your base foundation would have been severely narrower. And I think that would have hurt you. I think you're better set up this way for the next 30 years than you would have been.
I love the answer, and I love the diversity that comes with it. It leads me to my next question. And again, this is based on you. What makes a market a good or a bad market in your opinion?
Um, I think, again, it just comes back to what you're looking for. So, because we're looking for areas that we can add value to, we're looking for areas that also are growing and people are moving to. We also want deals that both have cash flow and appreciation, whether it's forced or organic, right? Commercial, you can force appreciation by increasing rents and net operating income, but you can also get organic appreciation by cap rate compression or just market rent growth, et cetera. So we wanted areas that would provide both good cash flow and good upside. And those are areas where they're not the most in demand markets, but they're also not less populated. So we started targeting markets that had 1 million people plus in the MSA, which is called the Metropolitan Statistical Area. So, for example, New York City, the MSA is all 5 boroughs, I think Long Island, and it might even be Westchester County. I don't really know.
It's at least lower Westchester, if not all of Westchester County.
Yeah. So when you look at the MSAs, a lot of times, broad strokes, it's the city and the suburbs around it. So we wanted areas that had 1 million people or more because we felt that has really good demand, really good economics, really good amount of resources there where, if we had a contractor we didn't like, good chance we have several more options. If there's a landscaping company we didn't like, several more options. If there's a manager, several more, like a lot of things to go to. Also makes travel easier to get to, probably, greater airports, hubs, et cetera. And then beyond that, we looked for areas with growing population, pro business, low unemployment or trending downwards unemployment. We looked for really good supply and demand metrics on population growth versus the number of new housing units coming online. We looked for, what else do we look for? Job growth. There's a few others I'm forgetting, but things that just show that the area is growing, people want to be there, things like that. A lot of those places over the last 8 years have been states with no income tax. So Tennessee, Florida, Texas. I'm sure there's a few others, but those are the big ones. But then also, just lower cost of living areas. So, several of your Midwest markets, the Carolinas, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, I think, or I don't know the West Coast too well because we don't really focus over there. But Texas, so areas like that.
Tremendous opportunities in places, unlike my home county in Nassau County, that are not amongst the most expensive places to live in the country.
Yeah.
Cost of living here.
And that's one of the things, we looked at, obviously you look in your backyard and, we looked at, obviously John came from investment sales for, Brooklyn properties, Queens properties, 3 units, 6 units, 10 units, et cetera, Marks and Millichap. And we didn't want to buy there because a lot of the investors and a lot of the deals we were looking for, the cap rates were so low, your cash flow was so light, if almost non-existent. And we were looking for that blend of cash flow and appreciation. Right. New York has the great ability to pop. It also has the great ability to preserve capital from a value standpoint. On the commercial side, I don't know too much about the residential side, how it's stacked up to the rest of the country. But when you looked at values per apartment or value per unit, through the downturn in 2008, the top 5 metros held their value significantly better than they call them secondary and tertiary markets. So your secondary markets are, Atlanta, Charlotte, what else?
Orlando's and
Houston,
Houston's.
Dallas.
Yep.
Your tertiaries are like your Orlando's, your Jacksonville, Florida's.